Welcome back. Let's get started with the to-do management application. The first two components we would start with are the login component and the welcome component. Our initial objective is to create a login form with the name and the password and to be able to have the user click login and show the welcome page. That's basically the objective for the initial few steps. In this step, let's start focusing on the login component. I'll go to the favorite IDE, Visual Studio Code, and what we'll do is we will reuse the project that we created earlier. So for now, what we'll do is we'll actually create a new folder inside components. So I'll call this to do. So all the to do management application components we would be storing in the components to do folder. Let's go to the app.js and let's start with creating the to do app. So in the app, what I'll do is until now we have been including the counter. So I'll actually comment this out. How do I comment this out? Okay, this is JSX, right? So you need to use the complex way of commenting. So I need to put it in typical multi-line comment and enclose, make this a JavaScript code. So this is what you need to do. So open brace and within the comment, close brace. If I go to the browser, you don't really see anything right now. What we want to do is we would want to start creating our to-do app in here. So I'll create a component called to-do app. The to-do app is not yet ready, so it might error out. So let's go to the to-do and say new file, to-do app.jsx. And over here, let's start with the imports. So import React and component from React. Once we do that, we can actually create the to-do app class. To-do app extends component, and let's create the render method. So in the render method, what do we want to do? We would want to return something back. What do we want to return some back? For now, let's just return a simple div. Class name is equal to to-do app. Inside this, I'll just say my to-do application. Cool. So we are creating a component. Will it work as it is? Think. Will it work as it is? You need to do export default to-do app. Now the to-do app can be used in here. Will it work? Not yet, right? We need to import it. So I'll go ahead and import it. So import to-do app from dot slash components slash counter slash not counter, to do slash to do app. Isn't that easy? Cool. My to do application is now shown on the browser. Let's go to the to do app.jsx. What we'll do in this particular component is we'll create all the components related to the to do app initially in this single file. Once we think they are stabilized, we will move them to their own files. So we want to start with the login component. So let's start with the login page. So login component, class login component extends component. And let's create the render method quickly. So what do we want in the login page? We would want a couple of buttons, actually a couple of form elements, couple of text boxes, name and password, and we want a login button, right? So let's create them right now. So can I say input type is equal to text and say name is equal to username. This is the username, and after that enter the password. Input type is equal to text, name is equal to password. Is it text? Is it text? It should be password. So this is actually typical HTML, nothing special about it. What we are creating in here are the basic elements. So we are creating React elements for input, and what we want to do after that is we would want to have a button. So button, and let's call this login. So what we have now is a text box for username, a password field, and a login button. Will this work? Do you think this would work? The answer is no, because we need to actually put it within a div. In a JSX, you cannot retain multiple elements back. You have to actually put them in a div, or actually I could have used a React fragment. This is called React fragment. It's basically an empty tag. You can do that, or as we do usually, we'll put a div around it. Now, if I go to my to-do application, it still shows my to-do application. Why? Because we have not used the login component yet in here. So I'll remove my to-do application and put login component in here. Let's see if this comes up. Cool. So username, password, and login. That's awesome. One of the things that you can see is the login button is now appearing in a bigger font because of the CSS that we have defined elsewhere. Let's not worry about it right now. For now, you'd be able to enter values in here and click login, and we'll be able to use this login component. In this quick step, we started creating the login component. We did the setup for the to-do app. We created a module for to-do app where we are now having all the code and the components related to to-do app in this specific module. We created the login component, and we are now all set to go ahead and implement the login page. I'll see you in the next step where we will talk about this a little more. Until then, bye-bye.